welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. We're getting ready to go into game number 2 between PDW and Big. Very dominating game 1, Foxy. I think that's the kind of big takeaway. PDW need to... I mean, they need to be
I couldn't agree more, mate.
More proactive.
That's bang on. Yeah, they were very in that first game. It was just like, it was pretty tragic, honestly. If you're a Polish fan, you're definitely looking for a complete reversal of everything from that game 1. Honestly, for me as well, it all begins in draft 2. I didn't like what they drafted. First rotation was cool. The first 3 picks were fine.
Yeah.
Didn't like how they rounded it out from the bot side. I think as well, just like Odie is like an absolute sickhead. Just play around him, let him pop off, and I don't think he was able to do that in their first game.
As well, like Bruness on the Lee Sin, incredibly cool and flashy insects, consistently finding them. Felt like you said the problem is the amount of times he'd used his W and his flash and then was standing in the middle of the thing going, well, I kicked one of them out and now it's me with 4 instead of me with 5. Like, just getting jumped on, like, cartoon brawl, smoke cloud, and just limbs flying out, and then the rest of the boys would walk forwards. It's you know, Bruness is mechanically very good at Lee Sin. We get it, bro. But, like, maybe make sure you're not going to get instantly murdered afterwards.
I think because, you know, ban Galio, man. Ban Galio, because he was always like, you know, to your point, honestly, to say it in a less harsh way to Bruness, PW was going proactive, and Galio is the reactive answer to that. And it was just ruining PW's day, especially Bruness's day. Every single time. We have swap sides now, though. PW are on the red side. They've chosen this. There is the adaptation. That is Galio going down. We're following a similar trend, though, here for Big, banning away a lot of bot laners for Odie.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Odie is a good player, so deny him some bot laners. Obviously, that is Zig's flexible. I love the fact that Rika is going to have the ban on the Silas as well. It's been such a powerful pick, but that does give over what is being hovered right now in this Twisted Fate as a potential just first pick or, you know, early rotation to the side of Big. And, you know, it goes back to proactive globals. This is exactly what they want. There's still the gangplank open if they want to go for something that can also additionally offer towards those globals as well for Melonik. You know, Big have quite a wide kind of pool to choose from, and the Twisted Fate doesn't really reveal too much. It just shows that you want to move mid lane, and that's what you want to do anyway.
And I think, like you said, that the gangplank or the Shen would be a good answer here as well. You'll have an answer into You know what? I'm stopping talking. Camille, that was Melonik's pick in the last game. Melonik, very good on the Camille. It's the most banned champion against Big. But who else loves playing Camille? Color does. So he's going to get... It's going to be that blind pick, but again, you got that strong 1-2 in the Lee Sin and Camille combination. And Melonik loves to play carries, and carries are champions that you can exploit if you want to go like and gank them and stuff like that. So we'll see where the Melonik kind of defaults. Nope, he's going to go for it. He's going for a carry himself, so we could see some explosion in that top side.
It's been a little while as well since we've seen the Gwen kind of rear its head. Obviously, earlier on in the season was a must pick, must ban. For this tournament, I believe we've had a couple of Gwen picks so far.
And Melonik's played it before as well, so...
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely fallen down that priority list, but it's something that can scrap with color. Obviously, again, a bit like the Shen, you can kind of be a little flexible with the summoner spells. You know, you can trade that flash out for an ignite or a ghost. And Czajek also going to match here on the global presence and picking in that Ryze. Obviously, you know, as you get later into the game, great scaling, plays into what PDW want to do, but also has that, you know, that realm warp to move around the map. We'll see where the next ban phase is going to take us. The Rakan, the Fresh is still open, so probably going to see one of those two get banned away, if not both of them. But for now, it's just the Varus from PDW, and I feel like if it's Big, it's probably just going to look towards the support pool and take away one of those two, or both of those two strong
more AD
supports.
carry bans, man. This is, it was the story of game 1. We've seen 3 ADC bans from Big so far. Why not just pinch the pool even further? Seems to make a decent amount of sense. For what we've got so far in the draft as well, like holy moly, we've got some really strong solo laners, some really strong junglers as well. The way that they match up, Lee Sin plus Ryze, Lee Sin plus Camille, Lee Sin plus TF plus Gwen, like you've got some very strong 2v2s going on here wherever you decide to go. And also like playing Camille into Twisted Fate, like Twisted Fate, if you're looking at splitting aside as Camille, Twisted Fate's always going to be there to ruin your day. So that could be a little bit tricky as well. That's something you're going to have to pay attention to if you are color. There's a Xayah ban, no real shockies on that one. And it is the Rakan instead, as you said. So this looks to me like kubYD is going to go for the Thresh if it's not taken away right here.
But you also got to keep in mind that Tristana's open. So they could first pick the Tristana to try and deny Keduii from that, but then obviously you give the Thresh over in the next rotation, and you know, you can have like a Jinx Thresh setup. Obviously the Aphelios banned away, you can't take that. So just gonna lock in the Braum here.
Okay.
So I feel like they're kind of calling the bluff, going, right, which one do you want, Trist or Thresh? Take your pick in, and PDW now have to figure out what the game plan is going to be from them.
And if you don't go for this Tristana, again, you're kind of going a little bit further down in your ADC champion pool. And not a lot of stuff that OD hasn't played yet, or has played yet, excuse me. So he's definitely feeling the pinch right here, and I think it's quite smart to focus him. I do think he's been PDW's main carry. As you said, you know, you called it right. It's not the Thresh, it is going to be that Tristana. Great champion to pick as a carry. Really good takeaway from Keduii as well. He's great on that Tristana. It's really a signature champion. And now we'll see what the response is instead. Hovering, that is going to get locked in. So a lot of mobility here from the bot lanes as well. Decent amount of range as the game goes on as well.
Yeah, I mean, it also means you don't have to rely on that Thresh as a pick, because it naturally has safety itself. So they're actually going to pick something you can start the fights alongside with just the gold card. Because at the moment for Big, you know, I think the major problem is they have pick, but they don't have team fight, and they have that solar flare. You have that, you know, that bigger engage you can do from the long range with that to work with, but it does give over something like a Thresh to cupboard if you'd like it, and that obviously means Tristana can jump in and out fairly safely, but they're actually going to lock in the Trundle support here for cupboard. So Thresh getting completely put to the wayside. I can see you scratching your chin, Foxy. Talk to me.
So I feel like Thresh is pretty good in Leona, because you can always cancel the E.
Zenith Blade.
That's the one. And I just think in general it's pretty strong. You give some more safety to the Ryze, who's playing versus a Twisted Fate plus Leona plus Zhao, so he could get it. Yeah, there's going to be a target on his back for sure. Czajek's going to have to play this game pretty well. He's not going to have the cleanse either, because he wants to match the globals, so first item mercs and just, you know, pray. Trundle is only going into one tank as well, which is the Leona, so not a huge amount of resistances to shred, plus the mobility from the side of Big. You know, it's only Twisted Fate really that you can do a real mischief to with that pillar. Everyone else, like Ezreal, will jump away from it, Gwen will skip away from it as well. So I don't necessarily, I don't really see why you take Trundle over Thresh here. Having said that, I'm going to go on a whim and say that kubYD is probably slightly better at support than me and knows slightly more than I do. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. I'm not going to judge it too harshly just yet.
I mean, you do have, obviously, the Subjugate can take seaz's stats from him. He's a support, so naturally won't have massively high stats in the first place. So if he does jump into a Ryze and Tristana and gets subjugated, seaz will get liquefied. Yeah. Obviously, Akabane is a bit different because you do have that zone with your Crescent Guard. And same for Melonik as well. This is really hard to kill topside when they both have a zone where you can't actually hurt them in unless you're standing inside it.
Yeah, definitely really annoying mechanics to play against. Bruness going to get swayed out here. He'll have to jump away, question mark? No, just going to do a bit of a love tap. That is his topside warded though, so some information for Big in the early game. Be able to track down Bruness's path thing, going to be responded as well from PDW. So, he's fine. He's fine. We're chilling. We're chilling. We're chilling. We'll see what these, you know, what path both these generals decide to do. A bit of a head fake here from Bruness, standing on the top side, parting now towards the bot. I think it's smart to try and make stuff happen top side early on. I think you know both teams want to try and get Gwen and Camille ramping up. There's ignites for both of them and no flashes, so that's even more kill potential there as well. So I've definitely got my eyes peeled on this top side.
They're going to start up blue side for both of these junglers. Does mean that they'll be clearing away from one another, but that vision's still gone down from Akabane, and they'll still have that information to work with. Melonik obviously spotted out on the ward as he makes his way towards the wave in the top side. So both teams have a pretty good understanding of where the enemy jungler is. Might just take Big a little bit longer to figure out exactly what Bruness has gone and done, but by now you'd expect to see him on that red side. So
yep.
Probably got a good idea that he just went blue in the end.
Exactly. By process of elimination, you know where he is. He's not on his red, so he's probably on his blue, and you can see those pings coming through on the minimap. He's being tracked pretty well. They can't see him, but Big are just kind of assuming how long it's going to take him to take each camp. And he got pinged on the blue, he got pinged on the Gromp. Just good awareness here from PDW. You do want to, sorry, from Big. You do want to avoid that early game pressure from the Lee Sin, as he does have some pretty good gank setup to work with.
However, they know they've not been invaded on the side of PDW because they got 2 wards that cover the entrances to that red side jungle. So Bruness free to move through and just pick up these camps for free. Honestly, really nice early vision coverage from PDW. Czajek moved out of lane, put that ward down near the Raptors. Didn't want to go too deep into the jungle because they didn't have full information. And has been spotted out on this ward, but I don't believe Akabane was seen there. The wildcards will stop Czajek.
So you're absolutely right. There's really, really good vision from PDW for this level 1, but vision has cooldown. Trinkets have cooldowns. I wonder if that will kind of bite PDW in the butt a little bit once we get to this point in the game, where their vision now is pretty much expiring, especially on the top side. And if they can use that lack of vision to kind of sneak in and maybe make a play, because they have some very good ganking, very good gank setups. Looks like we're going to get one now.
Yeah, looking to jump in onto OD, but he's able to jump away. Keduii heavily chunked out already, and kubYD ignited. So he needs to make sure he gets that flash off, but the flash into the jump into Akabane, finding first blood. Nothing PDW can do about that as the ignite is on Akabane, but he's not going to be going down. And Big now this might try and group force their way into this mid side, and I think Bruness, you might just be handed that gold card, so he's just going to have to get back up towards his top side and try and pick the crab up there.
Bit of a mistake, I think, from Bruness to not try and respond this with the top side play. You can see on the mini-map right now, Bruness was on his chickens. He could have maybe gone, take the top crab and look for Gwen on her reset. Either way, easy as you like right here. A lot of good setup from a Leona, lots of CC. And of course, Zhao, probably the best early game jungler that you have. And there's not much room for error either. It's just right-clicking people, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
It means people like me can... can have success on certain champions. Not that I'm abusing him, okay, I totally am, but good start there for Big.
Yeah, very nice start for them indeed. And, again, proactivity. This is what we wanted to see. Now, I will say, PDW were being proactive in the bot side. They just, unfortunately, paid the price for it. And that's kind of the tail of that last game as well. Is when they were proactive, they used everything to do a proactive play and then had nothing to play safely around. And like you said, the vision's on a cooldown. It's on timer. So they had to wait for the vision to come back up so they could actually have the safety to make that play. But they decided not to. They went a little bit too early, and it did cost them pretty heavily. Big, nice little read there on the map to be able to go for that gank. Now, Dragon has spawned up. Our Drake will be a Cloud Drake to start us off. So again, no Cloud Soul, keeping things potentially pretty spicy as we move later on.
Ooh, some pretty poisonous snips there from Melonik. Getting a lot of that damage off. I don't think Color's in any threat right here. I want to make another point about this vision, because it's really interesting what you said as well about not seeing where Akabane is, and so not knowing to how to play around it and whatnot. The cool thing about vision is that not only does it show you where people are, but it shows you where they aren't. And the thing with the top side vision is that because that all disappeared from PDW, they had no idea that Akabane wasn't top side. Because if they had the vision there and saw that he wasn't there, they could have inferred, oh right, he's not top side, he's probably resetting, he might be going bot side, be careful, But because of all that vision disappeared, they really just had no information at all. And that is what led to that first blood.
Odie is able to pick himself up a plate with that being a solo one as well. So 160 gold injected into him. Doesn't have those tier 2 boots that you do sometimes see rushed out of Tristana's. That's just gone for the Noon Quiver instead. It's covered. Did his best to clear out some vision, but needs to be somewhat careful of those seaz. Gonna blast cone into the face of PDW and may pay the price. Puts up the iceberg, but that is Bruness getting jumped onto as the wild cards go through. Covered on the wrong side from the team, and the roam walk from Czajek means he'll be able to zip out to safety. PDW almost getting a nice little pick on to Big spot laner there, or at least their support.
Close, but not quite close enough. A bit of a zealous jump in there from seaz with that blast cone, but doesn't pay the iron price and gets to walk away with his life. If Trundle was level 6, hey, he could use the subjugate and maybe he could get those resistances down, but he's only level 4, so not gonna happen.
Cool, Keduii. Gonna just shift away because that's how Ezreal plays. So only level 6 over Keduii's level 5. Was hoping to try and find an opportunity. Now obviously that shift is on cooldown for a little bit longer.
So you have to move in bot.
But Akabane Again, the vision kind of lackluster for the side of PDW. Covered able to jump away from that Zenith Blade, and really nice vision for PDW up the river a little bit, but this part, not so good.
Anytime you see Rika disappear after pushing a wave, you've just got to scream down that microphone to your team. Yo, Twisted Fate's missing, he's coming for you, be careful. And that was exactly what OD and kubYD respected there in that bot side play, just walking away from seaz and Keduii, knowing that it probably wasn't going to be a 2v2, which it absolutely would not have been in that situation. As you get a little
even if it wasn't, Akabane was waiting in the tri-brush.
Yeah, exactly. So. Like there were plans to make that happen. And yeah, good respect though from the Polish team.
Absolutely. Well, 8 minutes in, Riftel's actually started up by Melonik while Akabane does the blue buff. Could just look to hand that over to Rika while Melonik gonna be able to deal with this somewhat easily. Akabane gonna come over and make sure they get this. They've rotated their support over. Same for PDW, but they're not really set up to go for it. So Bruness just gonna pick up his red buff, and this time around, well, again, FLICKR able to get themselves the first Rift Herald of the game. We'll see whether they decide to use it. Last time, they actually placed it in the bot lane to inject some gold into Keduii. So we'll see if they do the same again, or if they want to open up the mid lane and, you know, unlock Rika to rotate around the map more.
I would really like that. I think taking mid tier 1 is always a good option for Herald, but especially when you've got Twisted Fate in your team, if he can push out harder and further, he just roam around so easily. It becomes so hard to track him as well, and it's just really difficult to play against if you are PDW in this instance. Looks like instead Akabane's going to go towards this top side. This tower's pretty low, so you might even be able to get the first blood tower here. Melonik doing a little bit of poke as well to set up for this dive. Oh, Carl's in trouble. He's in trouble.
Once you've been snip that much, you're in trouble. The needlework's coming in. Rika, he ulted in to get the plates, I promise. He didn't want the assist.
I honestly, like, even if he ults in for the plates, he's just stealing gold from Melonik, man. He's
helping him get the second shot.
Oh, of course, yeah. What a good guy Rika is right there. Oh yeah, you're right. He's gonna get that. They're gonna get both.
Brain.
Legit.
This is a 600 gold tower. This is huge. Color should be able to stop the next charge, although it's actually died. So yeah. OD will be able to answer with a turret himself, and that's going to be a lot of solo gold to the Tristana, but, you know, 2 towers, a tier 2 top lane opened up pretty heavily to a tier 1. Not particularly the greatest. OD making sure as much of this wave dies as possible.
But that is a really good
point. Will answer with a cloud.
Really good point. The solo gold is the important part there for PDW as a response. If you think about just how much gold Big got there, obviously they're the ones that come out on top. But if you think about who the gold went to, PDW funneling OD here, it's not just, you know, the Tristana, that's great, getting Tristana gold, but OD specifically, the man himself, he's great. He's a really good carry for PDW. He's what they rely on for these victories. And to get him some more gold. Can we toggle the gold real quick, observers, if you can hear me? Mercy, a 1k lead. A 1k lead when he's 0-0-0, even one less assist. Fairly significant, you know, and playing towards your win conditions as a team. Thank you very much, observers, you beautiful people.
Yeah, he's got the Kraken Slayer finished up to components from Keduii. So, yeah, this is really huge, actually. You got the Gore Drinker finished up onto Akabane. So, flying on him. And, you know, Everfrosters are coming closer and closer for these mid laners apiece, but no dragon up yet, as Big were able to lose the dragon because they were top side, so PDW were able to pick it up. A little bit of time as well until this next Rift Herald goes up as well. So they've got a bit of time on the map where they can just chill. You can see the total gold and where this gold has kind of been spread out. Melonik and Rika still got pretty significant leads over their counterparts. I mean, Color versus Melonik, that gold difference right now between the top laners is, quite frankly, horrific.
Significant, for sure. It's like... Camille was this first pick, right? Well, it was technically the second pick, but it was PW's first pick, was getting that Camille, and they wanted to take it away from Melonik. They really valued having this Camille early, and it's not paid off for them at all. It absolutely has not. She's 1.5k gold down right now. She was struggling solo in the lane.
It's about to get worse though, because solo plates are going to Melonik.
Yeah. It's just tragic, really, for PDW solo. If you were to look at this from like an objective point of view, and like, you have no idea who these teams are, Big obviously is doing great, and they're very happy bunnies, and everything's fine. But you know, when you take a look at the nameplates and you take a look at the teams we've got here, sure. Yeah. I still think, you know, this is good for Big. I don't think Big's making any mistakes by doing this at all. But if I am going to give a little bit of like hope over to the way this early game's being played for the Polish squad, like genuinely, putting your eggs in the OD basket is how you're going to find wins. It's how you're going to win this series if you do, especially against a team like Big, who are no slouches and absolutely no pushovers. So it could be worse at this state of the game.
And also, Czajek's been kind of silently farming up as well, so getting closer and closer towards that Everfrost. Obviously, did take a bit of a detour to get the Tear of the Goddess on the Ryze. Pretty much expected on that front. Odie, I believe, has had 10 plates. Not all solo, but 10 plates this game. Might go for the 11. I don't think you're going to have time to get all 15, but a lot of gold onto that Tristana. Should get the 11 plates.
Yeah.
Maybe 12 if you're lucky. No, just 11.
Yeah, it's all adding up. It's all adding up for Odie right now. He's a very, very happy camper in this one. And now he just gets to sit mid and just push. He's Tristana, so he'll do that pretty quickly. It's just the easiest game of his life, man. Just gets to play PvE, slowly scale up, and then contribute to these team fights, which would have a much easier time of doing compared to the last game. So definitely be able to keep your eyes on him as those fights progress.
They've got a level lead over Keduii as well. They're actually bringing everybody in. The CC! Wow. Way too long. Color can't even hookshot out. He just frankly didn't get to play the game. Apparently same for Akabane, who also will lose his life.
Yep, that's going to be a trade 1-for-1 on the inside track for PDW. Maybe you can actually get this extra. Nah, plates are going to disappear.
Nah, you got 3 seconds,
yeah,
bro.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Oh, Keduii.
Might get the tower though. Without plates, it's pretty squishy. That is a Tristana.
I mean, they did use the E onto Keduii, but even so,
yeah,
it's a very, very strong Tristana. Keduii just trying to thread a little bit of poke in and out. PDW versus Big. Both teams have taken 3 towers apiece. Lots gold unlocked for both of these teams, and the gold lead at 15 minutes is way closer than it was in game number 1. It is a 200 gold lead, sorry, 2,000 gold lead over to the side of Big as Melonik summons the needlework. Czajek going solo. Melonik finds the kill.
Does he just not what he used flash, or maybe something happened? Like maybe it's maybe I don't know why I just didn't instantly flash when he was getting really low there. The thing is, like, the timing of this death as well is pretty awkward because Dragon is spawning, Herald spawning as well. If you're Big at this point, like, you don't even really need to trade 1-for-1 anymore, as in trade the Herald for the Dragon or vice versa. I think you can just take both, legit. I mean, it's short, Czajek's got his TP up, but your resets are going to be in pretty decent timing here. We'll see if Big do decide to try and contest this one, or if they're just going to go for some topside farm in that mini wave with TF and the jungle for Aqua.
It looks like they're quite happy to give up this Dragon and give it over to PDW. This is the second one for PDW, and again, we are looking at, well, actually for the first time, it's going to be a Mountain Drake in this game, so a bit of that shielding may help somewhat, although it will be around a 25-minute soul. A little bit later than the last game, as Color should be A-okay if seaz is looking for a potential bit of ward clearance, but may pay the ultimate price as the Hextech Ultimatum comes in. seaz, you can solar flare all you like, but you're blocked in and you're taken down. Bruness will find the kill.
Bit greedy right there for seaz, looking for wards instead, finding death. Probably not worth it. I don't think he got the ward either, so definitely not worth it right there for seaz. That's another kill in the pocket of PDW, giving a little bit of respite over to the Polish team, who are kind of slipping a little bit right now in this game.
Ooh.
Something important to note, as we are past the 15-minute mark now, as you said, it's not a huge lead, but Big, literally in every single one of their games in E-Masters so far, if they've been ahead at this point in the game, they have not lost. And here they are.
It's the first time for everything. PDW are going to bring 3 up on their own warp just to be able to defend this tower, but remember, there is a Rift Tailed in Akabane's pocket. I'd like again to just have a quick toggle of the gold just to see, you know, where Odie is over his counterpart. He's still only 1,000 gold up, which is interesting because the amount of plates and resources that did funnel into Odie, the level disparity has also been equalized. Both of them are level 10 apiece.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you know, PDW put a lot in the OD basket, and sure, does have a 1,000 gold lead and is building towards, you know, the kind of frontline busting in the armor pen item.
But importantly,
still not massively far ahead.
Exactly, like a 1k gold lead when we looked at it at like, you know, 10 minutes in or whenever it was, pretty significant. 1k gold lead, you know, it's the lead itself hasn't changed in the next kind of like 7 minutes or so. Really means, you know, Big have done well at putting on the brakes. Already hasn't been able to accelerate this lead, but in the top side, Melonik, he's got a 2,000 gold lead over Color. Really huge. You can see from the lane assignments as well, Color just cannot go into Melonik at all. He cannot match this guy. He's always pathing to the opposite side. It also means that Big's able to just get a push in and then run around first. Both teams will get a fight here. Both teams should just want to disengage from this one. But essentially, first move on the map is always going to be in Big's hands right now, as long as Melonik is as big as he is, and he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, and it takes multiple people to come to Fen versus Melonik. Tier 2 is going to be under fire. Remember, these Tier 2s are worth more money. Rika even going to come in with a Destiny, just to make sure that they can go for this, and the charge is going to break out. The tower will fall down. Big 5 towers up. Akabane's actually jumping in. The fight is on. The burst has been laid down. And just like that, Cupboard, even with the subjugate on, will lose his life. Melonik.
Look at Color.
Can't quite connect it. Oh, Color on the flank. Hextech ultimatum onto seaz. I think that might be a little bit over eager, Color.
All right. I somewhat respect the move there, Mr. Color. Despite his name, he's been staring a lot of monochrome this game with his grey screen.
His favorite color is grey.
He literally TP'd onto that ward that you see right at the bottom right of your screen in the river. The longest TP flank in the history of mankind. And maybe just a bit of a tilt engage right there. I'm not yeah, it was just, I don't know. If you can see it right here. Here's the TP, right? It's coming so far away. There's not, you just it's all just right. Yeah, not much to do.
You can reset now. Any moment now. Oh no, he goes in.
No, he just decides he wants it. Genuinely, that's a I mean, I guess Czajek is somewhat that's just pure sprint.
There isn't a world. There isn't a world where that was gonna go right.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a sunk cost fallacy, dedicating a TP into that one. He got 60, well, yeah. But you can see, all right, enough. Sure, that wasn't the best play. Already didn't get any damage off in that team fight. Not gonna like flame by saying this, but you cannot win team fights if your Tristana's not doing any damage. I know that's a shocker, but legit, PDW need to find ways to enable him more in those fights. And if Big can keep these team fights where it's really hard for Tristana to get in and to do damage, they're gonna be very happy.
I think that's been the kind of tale of this series so far. Is PDW just gets zone controlled by Big.
Yep.
Riga Destiny's in, and that forces Color away. Remember, this is a flashless Camille. You went for the ignite, you wanted that lane pressure. And even though it's only been 1 kill for Melonik, just the amount of gold invested early into him on the Gwen has just made Color's life impossible.
Yep. He's really
Color me surprised if you put a Rift Dale down and get 2 towers early.
True.
Gwen gets pretty scary.
And you get dove. Camille struggles in that situation, definitely. I think PDW now recognize though what they've got to do to win this game. Just while you're chatting right there, they had OD in top side. He was pushing solo. So considering they have a Ryze and a Camille in this game, which are very good side laners, very good solo laners, typically indicative of like a 1v1 comp or something like that. Akabane though.
Maybe. Good little kick over the wall, into the pillar, into the teleport. Melonik seeing PDW saying, are you going to take this round war? Bruness gets just...
Oh, poor guy.
Desert Island.
Yeah. His invitation got lost in the mail, but I swear Ryze sent one. I promise he did. But that is the jungler dead, which means it's a pretty easy Baron to take right here for Big. And it was a relatively decent early game for Big. Obviously, they were able to get that lead on the top side of the map, but you know, PDW finding leads elsewhere, finding gold onto their Tristana. Things were looking okay, but of course, Big doing as Big does, really just blowing this game open in that mid game, and now having that Baron in pocket as well. It's looking very tough here for the Post team.
It is looking incredibly tough for them. I said it in the last game. Oh, hello. They might have found Odie. And I think at that point, you're in real danger. Town flashes away from the solar flare. It turns out it wasn't Odie. It was Color they wanted all along. So he's been ignited. Painted orange, but Color is able to get away. It's the true shot barrage. Not going to be enough to kill him even if it hit. Color able to survive for now.
PDW getting away with that one. Some resources being used right there from Big. We're going to take another look at this fight. Unfortunately, this kick over the wall is not good for PDW because it means they can't follow up at all. And just take a look at Bruness. That's a bit odd. I'm not going to lie. We've had a few of these situations in the LEC. And I don't think he was passing out of the realm warp there. Maybe he got screwed a bit by the Z-axis. I'm not really sure. But either way, an unfortunate death for Bruness there. Not being able to take the realm warp.
That's a pain as well. Keduii landing 2 Mystic shots onto OD, and OD very low. Bruness does have the kick, does have the flash.
He's thinking about it.
Very hard to kill Keduii, but they're looking for it. And oh my word, cupboard is collapsed. OD does lose his life as well, and seaz able to hold on for the moment. Melonik, by the way, is inside the base, and
this might be it.
I think we might be going to game 3, Foxy, because Big have put on a monster performance in this best of 5, and PDW have just lost the entire time. They have only died 3 times in the last 2 games, and Akabane might be looking to change that stat somewhat here as he's caught out by the kick. Bruness will go down, make it 4, but they're still going to trade up. They're still going to be happy with this one. Color jumps in over the lantern and oh, hold the phone. Things are getting a little spicy, but Keduii's still feeling it. Cupboard has to be careful. And they've got the Baron to work with still. They've got the minion wave to work with. Odie's back out as he's jumping in for Keduii. They've got the realm walk covered, trying to find Odie. He's able to get it. Czajek gets locked in place. Has to go for the stop. What's the gold card's going to catch up to him? Czajek, it was a miracle attempt. And it just fell a little bit too short. 13 kills, 14 kills to 4. 5 deaths in 2 games with 30+ kills for the side of Big. They are having an absolutely beastly quarterfinals to start us off.
And now on the 1-year anniversary of Ultraliga winning their first title in EU Masters and doing it in pretty dominant fashion as well, we're 1 game away from the Ultraliga having no representatives outside of the quarterfinals. PDW, they're not only 0-2 down, but the fashion in which they've lost, they're gonna have to really pick everything back up in this break going into game 3, and I'm not sure if they can do it.
It's hard to say because, you know, last game I was like, right, well, you know, maybe they have to think about game number 2. Now they're in game number 2. Now they got to think about a reverse sweep. Yeah. And when you've been losing in such dominating fashion, it's a very hard one. We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to bounce back. But for now, we're going to throw to a break when we're back for the Analyst desk to talk a little bit more about this game. So we'll see you in a moment.
Big are looking to break the spell, as domestically the Ultra League has always knocked out these Prime League teams. Now they are a match point 2-0, and once again a game where PDW didn't really have much to say, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been a little bit sad, hasn't it? I'm not gonna lie, I came in today and I thought, you know, PDW, they've got this really cool mid-jungle support, it's looking phenomenal, and we just haven't seen it. This has been big all day long.
What we also see, Trouble, from Big is, once again, very fast-paced.
I mean, they're playing fast League of Legends. We said it from the very beginning. One of their objectives is always taking that Rift Herald. Akabane always has that in his sides, and he tries to open the side lanes where someone else is gonna have to go there and defend. And this is where the fight goes in from the side of Big, right? I feel like Akabane at this point is a big talking point for the side of Big because he's literally again all over the map. And the very crucial thing is that we know that Rika doesn't have much skill participation because what he mainly does is he uses his own pressure to sort of bleed it out towards the side lanes, and Akabane sets up perfectly for that.
Yeah, and I think that's been a really good point though, is that like we've just seen that so often that it's been more like Czajek kind of stuck to his lane and Rika not getting out.
And not only looking at that, PDW, we kind of praise him by the fact that kubYD moves around the map, but he's not able to do so. Akabane shows up at the right time, as we saw in that little gank there in the bot lane. He's everywhere once again, and kubYD can go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the big thing here is that like kubYD, because he's had so much pressure down towards that bottom side, 2 quick 5-minute ganks, he's not getting that play towards the mid, and especially on things like the Ryze, I was like, cool, you know, you got a good amount of push there against the Twisted Fate. Let's try and get Czajek out on the map early, make these plays happen. Instead, he's stuck in the mid lane, the Twisted Fate gets the 6, he's having quicker access to the map, and he's just making plays, top side, bot side, shutting everything down.
And I'm so glad you mentioned Czajek here because he has been the big superstar for PDW. He's been the man that will carry these fights later on, but the fights are just never coming into fruition for PDW because by the time it is teamfight hour, their Nexus has already fallen and they need to do something about this. Usually, yes, Czajek will not roam too much and the team will play around him, and that is given that his team is not suffering big losses on the side lanes. This is just not the case, especially since a bunch of globals are going this out of Big.
And looking at these stats on your screen, I see a very big green bar for the Ezreal from Keduii. And that's not only because he is a very good AD carry, but it's also like the map gets opened up by Akabane. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, I thought for a large portion of this that like it kind of came down to like Akabane and the top side versus the AD carry on the opposite side, because like you saw all this top trading, making sure that you could like play off of your strong point of the map. But at the end of the day, the Gwen was huge. You had this massive Zhao as well. And if you're an Ezreal, you just exist in that scenario and you're going to have a fun time. You're just flinging off all these mystic shots left, right, and center. You're bound to hit someone, and that's why you're getting these massive, massive damage numbers.
And then I think we've seen like twice back-to-back 2 drafts completely different from PDW, right? On the first one, it was like completely passive. On the second one, they've got the Ryze, they've got the Tristana bot. I feel like, again, they just fell victims to the draft because they have to draft for that threat that is Twisted Fate, yet another global going this out of Big. They ban the Galio and then they ban the Sylas as well. And there's like, what's left? Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate in general has been so big in all the series throughout groups, in the quarterfinals. Whichever team took him yesterday won the game. And I think globals in general a big focal point that PDW are going to have to be careful of because there's one way to turtle, but if the globals are opening the map on the side lanes, there's no way you can lose gracefully.
Yeah, and I think a large portion of that has been like really, really good reads coming in from Big. Yeah. They're going, hey, look, you know, game 1, only place that they can really play through is bot side. We'll shut that down. Okay, cool. We're maybe getting this early aggression through the bot lane. Maybe they can unlock kubYD. Let's again go bot side, shut that down. If kubYD's not moving, it feels like then Czajek isn't in as a comfortable position to actually try and influence the map alongside his jungler. And I think the biggest one for me here is that like Czajek just is not looking comfortable getting access to that map. Like on a Ryze, you should be able to move a large amount. We're not seeing that. And instead, it's the mid-jungle 2v2 that we're expecting that is in favor of Big that's winning.
Although, to be honest, this game looked a bit ugly for PDW. We did see something coming back for them. They usually do when they get the Ziggs, and that's already getting a lot of plates in that bot lane, being left alone. And that gives me a little bit of hope. But let's be fair, looking at this Big, it is a very, very scary team.
they just look so good. I mean, and I think Trouble has been talking about it all day long. Like the speed at which these guys can take over is absolutely insane. And when Akabane is looking so good, when you are having these roams from FLICKR, I mean, every part of the map is just succeeding as a result. And unfortunately for PDW, they're just not keeping up. They've gone uber defensive, that's fallen apart. They tried to match in the early stages, that's fallen apart as well.
And I'm really liking this particular replay, even from the previous one, because you see, again, it all starts, as you mentioned, by shutting down that one lane that PDW can play through. Game 1, it was through their bot side. Game 2, they shut down every single one of the lanes that they had. I feel like if Big can manage to get a global, they will absolutely drown you in it. So going further, I would possibly look to even take the Twisted Fate away. Neither blue nor red side has worked with PDW. Take blue side, I would say, if you have to, and please try to grab one of these OP champions away, or completely ban them out and play in your comfort zone. The Orianas, the Lissandras.
And this guy in your stream, please, for the love of God, get Akabane off the Xinjiao. This man has been everywhere. There is not a lane that he has not hit that is suddenly winning for the entirety of the game after that. This man should not be allowed to get his hands on these early aggressive junglers as easy as he is, and then being able to have this kind of triple effect. He hits all 3 lanes, make sure he's shutting them down. And again, like, no real aggression coming through from the sport because Akabane shut that down. Okay, then we go top. You think you can get this Camille snowballing? Not a hope in hell, lads. We're up here as well. We're shutting that down with the Rift Herald plays. How do you try and contend against that when this guy just seems to have a teleport that I didn't know existed to be wherever the hell he needs to be?
I mean, Akabane is showing up huge, and I'm kind of curious, like, what can you do to shut down someone like this? What is the answer to shutting down Akabane? Is it attacking the mid lane? Is it maybe looking for a skirmish? Maybe pick up something like a Trundle that is known to be very strong in a 1v1 early?
I feel so far we haven't seen the Bruness Czajek duo shine yet. We haven't seen the team play for Czajek because when the team is bleeding, you can't necessarily assist anyone else. You gotta sort of try and mend your shortcomings at that particular point, to the point where Czajek never comes online, and Big have found the correct button into shutting down PDW. Czajek never comes online. It's a PT day for the Prime League. I think they just have to get one of those OP picks off of Big. You can't be red side and getting them as Big. Blue side, sure, but red side, you should never be allowed to get these globals. And if you have to, ban all 3. Ban the Sylas, ban the Galio, ban the Twisted Fate. Take the Zinzao if you're blue side for yourself and try to look for picks from there. Zinzao, Oriana, we've seen PDW play this countless of times. Czajek, one of the best Orianas we have in the tournament.
Something needs to be changed on the side of PDW because they are on the brink of the annihilation. The Ultra Liga isn't looking ultra strong right now, as Big is leading 2-0 and are looking at a match point. Will they be able to be bounced back, or will they fall as the last seed in the Ultra Liga? We'll see it after the break. Till then.
He's gonna flash in and he steals the bomb! How does that connect by Edgeway? Finish! As EU Masters Champions!